Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining. My name is Andrea Zavala, and I'm a senior and lead peer consultant in the Office of Career Services. Today, we'll be going over resume and job searching tips as the spring semester is off to a start. The guiding theme for today's presentation is how can I improve my resume and jumpstart my job search? These are some of the most common inquiries that we receive in the office, so hopefully you'll be able to find some valuable information throughout the workshop. The guiding motivation for hosting this workshop now is to help ensure that you're career fair and job search ready. The Spring Career Fair is next Friday, January 29th, which is coming fast. Especially because it's the first week of classes, it's important to think about some of these things ahead of time so that you're not cramming the day of or the night before. We'll start by talking about resumes. And the guiding question that I want you to be thinking about whenever you're building or editing your resume is, what do you want a recruiter to learn about you? Most recruiters will spend less than a minute reviewing a resume. So you need to make sure to signpost things that you want the recruiter to learn about you. Whether you're trying to brand yourself as a technical expert on a specific program, or if you're trying to emphasize your team building skills and your communication efforts, make sure that you signpost things throughout your resume. These are 4 tips that I'll be going over during today's workshop. There are many more that you can access through the rest of our resources from the OCS, but these are a good place to start whenever you're thinking about what are quick ways that I can improve. The first guideline that I have is to keep it simple, especially now that resumes are just being passed through online portals. Many times they'll be processed through an applicant tracking system. This is an algorithm that will try to extract data from your resume and make it easier for recruiters to process that information. Because of this, you need to make sure that your format is simple, linear, try to keep it to 1 column, and be consistent. If you've ever uploaded your resume into some sort of portal and it tries to extract that information, and you kind of see it tries to fill in, education, work experience, you can see that it's not always accurate. Sometimes it's super funky. So the simpler and more straightforward that you can make your resume, the better, especially in today's day and age. Don't try to be super creative. Don't use funky colors. The main point of your resume is to communicate your strengths as a candidate. So that needs to be the focal point whenever you're building it. The second guideline that I included is to make sure that you're using up-to-date information. We just finished a semester and we're just about to start a new one. Make sure that your final projects that are relevant are included, your coursework, any project experience, and update your GPA as necessary. The basic run-of-the-mill stuff. Make sure that you're not using the same resume that you used 2 semesters ago, because it's not going to reflect you in your current experience. The next tip that I have is one of the most important. Make sure that you tailor your resume. I find it really useful to keep a master document or a runoff resume with all of my experiences, all of my projects, all of my coursework, and this is mostly just for me. You never want to give someone that much information, especially when you go to Harvey Mudd and your degree may be more general than at other schools. The reason that I say this is, if you're an engineering major and you're interested in applying for chemical engineering positions, but you're also applying to systems engineering positions, you don't want to turn in the same resume. Make sure that you highlight experiences that are relevant to whatever job listing that you're submitting an application for. And so, you can tailor it for each job. You can also just keep a resume for each industry that you're interested in working in. Another pro tip for this is to look at the job listings for whatever industry or whatever particular focal area, and try to use that vocabulary that they use whenever they describe the skill sets that they're recruiting for, because oftentimes you can have the correct background or the correct experience, and you're going to be talking about it in a different way. If they describe communication skills with specific terminology, feel free to use that terminology when you are explaining your experience on your resume. Don't plagiarize the job listing, but you can make sure that you're tailoring it for whatever that you're applying for. My last resume tip is to ask for feedback. Sometimes this can be a bit uncomfortable because a resume, in a way, can feel like a reflection of ourselves on paper. However, you want to make sure that you're not the only person who's looked at your resume before it lands in the hands of a recruiter. Swap your resume with a trusted friend, and that would be good for you to see what other versions look like. Also, feel free to schedule an appointment with the Office of Career Services at any time. The staff and peers are always available for resume reviews, cover letter reviews, job searching tips, and interview preparation. Or you can ask someone, if you're in a club related to your major, reach out to the president, reach out to upperclassmen and see if someone is willing to give you feedback. The more feedback that you get, the better that it will be. And if you start receiving contradictory information, you can make judgment calls or, again, reach out to OCS because we do have some of the perspectives that recruiters have provided us. So that's going to be, the most important whenever you're thinking about how you want to structure it. So now I'm going to discuss job searching tips. Job searching can be overwhelming, especially once classes starts and you're knee-deep in coursework. So I'm going to give you some tips on where to start. Here are 4 different avenues that I recommend including in your job search. The first that I want to emphasize is the career fair. The career fair is next Friday, and you can access information through your email or on Handshake. I highly recommend registering. It will make you visible to employers. And for that reason, I also recommend that you include your updated resume in Handshake. Make sure that you upload it, submit any information on your profile that you think is relevant. And then, if you're comfortable, make yourself visible to recruiters. That's also a good tip for just recruiters that end up reaching out through Handshake. I've received messages before that have actually worked out, opportunities that I've actually followed through with that I first heard through a message on Handshake. So whenever you look at the event for the STEM career fair, you can look at the employers. And I highly recommend doing this because you're not going to want to talk to all 48 employers. You are going to want to do your research, figure out which companies have positions that you're interested in, make a smaller list, rank them as, your priority to having time to speak with. Look, if you're a first year, make sure they hire first years, international students, same thing. You have access to all of this information, and it's going to be a really bad look if you show up to the career fair and you're talking to a recruiter and halfway through you realize you're entirely not interested in what they have to offer. You're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be wasting the recruiter's time. So make sure that you get the most out of it and prepare ahead of time. Another platform that I highly recommend that I sort of touched on already is Handshake. This is the homepage on Handshake for student profile, and I'm going to highlight 2 of the tabs here. First is the jobs tab. Obviously, you can find internships and full-time job opportunities listed here. This is, again, really good because recruiters that are on Handshake already know who Harvey Mudd is. They're already connected in that way, looking for college students to hire. So it has more of that personalized experience compared to larger platforms such as LinkedIn or just Google. So take advantage of that. And then the other thing I want to highlight is the Career Center tab. Career Center tab has multiple things that you can do, including that's where you can schedule appointments. But it also has this new resources tab. And if you were ever in the Office of Career Services when we were on campus, there are a few handouts there, and they are all now virtual that you can access here. So tips for, resources for building or editing your resume, cover letters, etc. But there are also different platforms that are linked here that have job sites. So there's a job site for environmental sustainability related opportunities, also biology. So I highly recommend accessing those resources and seeing if there's anything relevant to your job search. The third platform I want to highlight is LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, here's a pro tip: go to the Harvey Mudd College page, access the alumni tab. Here you can see our probably more than 7,000 alumni now. You can see where they live, where they work. And this is a great way to connect with someone at an organization you're interested in, to get, have an informational interview, see if they can provide you a reference, etc. Or it's just good research if you're curious, like, oh, this person works at Microsoft. I wonder what they did after their first year at Harvey Mudd. The last platform that is valuable in job searching is Mudd Compass. Mudd Compass is a fairly new platform. It is designed specifically for Harvey Mudders. It's for students and alumni. So it, you can connect and chat with different alumni, and it's specifically good for job referrals. So most companies have internal referral systems where employees can name drop a recruitee so that their resume is flagged whenever the recruiter gets their hands on it. And as you can see here, you are 14 times more likely to be hired with a referral than without one. So go through your emails, find Mudd Compass, set up your account, upload your resume, write in a bio, etc., and then connect with alumni in your field of interest, or just, to get advice on life after Mudd or looking for general opportunities. This brings up another point that is really important for your job search. Make sure that you network. 80% of jobs are landed through connections. So on any of the platforms that I've previously mentioned, LinkedIn is really great for networking, Mudd Compass as well, and then any alumni events that the school hosts, take advantage of those. So that's all that I have for today. I wish you the best of luck with your job search and the career fair if you plan on attending, which I highly recommend. Please feel free to follow up and send me any questions that you have at my email address listed on the slide. Thank you so much.